This is Terry, welcome to Snowdrops Sunsets and our channel. This channel I am there's a few things mixed in, but I'm trying to get a little bit more focused, and this channel is going to be dedicated to healing, holistic, natural healing processes and how you can learn how to heal yourself as much as possible at home for free and naturally. So this video today is about how to create a healing environment internally. If you're interested, I have done a video about how to create a healing environment externally, but this one is all about internal healing environment. I'll be looking at mind, body and spirit for a holistic overview of it. The reason, the specifics of what that might mean for you is going to be different for everyone. I can't really give advice for anyone in particular specific circumstances. What I can do is try and use my experience and the process that I went through, just to kind of give you an understanding of what I had to do, and why, and potentially the how. Just to be very clear, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not trained in any sort of specific traditional healing paths like that. I'm just a real person who has overcome traumas and mental health distress, following my own path, following my own intuition, and doing it all with a natural healing process. There are times where I have had to adapt myself to be able to find a sense of alignment and for the healing process to take place, and this video is a bit about that. But what I do want to be clear is, for me, the healing process is about finding yourself again. And sometimes when we get stuck in trauma cycles, or just when we're constantly battling with life, we can slip into unhealthy habits that can contribute to we can re-traumatize ourselves. It can contribute to our ill health. And it's not about blame. It's not about like self-blame or anything like that. It's also not about kind of forcing yourself to be different or change. It's just this video is trying to bring awareness as to the things that why it's helpful to then try and create an internal healing environment. Sorry if Daisy, I've got a dog called Daisy, if she's wandering around, sorry. Yes, so let's start with the body. First of all, the reason why it's really important to create a healthy healing environment for your healing process is because our bodies have the ability to heal themselves. They can't do that if if it's in an environment where it's constantly being re-traumatized or not getting everything it needs to be able to do that. It takes a lot of energy to heal, and obviously if we're not giving our body the energy and the tools that it needs, it just can't do it. And that's how we get stuck with these cycles of where we get worse, or we just don't get better at all. We just stay stagnant. The specifics, like I say, might be different for everyone, but when we're nurturing our body and we're creating an internal healing environment, we're just essentially trying to make sure our basic bodily needs are met. And it might sound obvious, but like I say, the way the world is so busy now, and we have so many expectations on us and things, I did anyway, just kind of forgot about myself, and actually caring for my body and my bodily needs was just put on the back burner. Other things were prioritised, and it just caused this ripple effect that down the line I really had to stop and deal with the situation. So in order to nurture your body, you want to make sure first of all that you're getting all of the nutrients that you need. Our bodies are just really complex machines, and they need lots of different elements of that machine to function for it to be able to work well. And personally, I am a big believer in diet and that connection with our food. So for me personally, and like it was a journey, it was never like that with me in the past, but my journey was really about respecting that cycle of where my food's coming from and what I put in my body. And even like the whole, I mean, I even went down the avenue of growing my own food. I personally prefer organic food if I can get it. I like to cook my own food, and that whole process is putting more energy and it's just being more connected to the food. And then for me, I became more intuitive about what my body needed, and it really helped the cycle. I'm not saying that you have to do that, and obviously especially if money or access to food and organic food is a problem, just start where you can. And that is getting your nutrients, getting the nutrients you need. So even if it's just taking a multivitamin or several. Look, I'm not a medical professional, so make sure you follow the labels, and we'll speak to somebody and get advice before you start putting stuff in your body. Like I say, I don't really think you can go wrong with food, you know what I mean? I don't think anyone's died from eating too many vegetables, but I don't know. I really don't know that. And personally, if I was going to be taking vitamins, and especially obviously I realise that money can be an issue when you're not, you know, able to earn your own money or whatever situation you're in. If you can buy better quality ones that are less refined, less processed, and aren't just based on chemical extractions, you're going to get a better benefit. And that's just from my experience what has worked better for me, and just from my understanding of our relationship. You are what you eat, and I just generally think there's something to be said for the symbiosis of nature. Putting that aside, just make sure you're getting your nutrients. Whatever it is that you're healing from, whether it's mental or physical or even spiritual, your body needs nutrients. And if you can't get it through your food, just take them externally. And that is like one of the key and first things you should look at. And like I say, everybody might need different things. You might be deficient in different vitamins or minerals, so I can't give specific advice. Starting off with a multivitamin might be a good start, but actually once you start getting into this process and you use your intuition, I genuinely think your body starts to tell you. And you know, if you go to like a shop where there's lots of vitamins and just ask yourself, I'm like, oh, what do I need? Scan the shelves, there's going to be ones that jump out, you know, start with them. For me in particular, especially if you're in the UK, you're probably vitamin D deficient. Vitamin D comes from the sun, and unless you're eating tons and tons of vegetables, particularly like fruits and vegetables, then you're probably deficient in vitamin D, which actually has a ripple effect on your physical body and your mental health. So for me, vitamin D was a big one. Cod liver oil. I don't eat a lot of oily fish and that sort of thing, so having a bit more oils in my system was really good. Magnesium, particularly some vitamins, it's potentially worth doing a bit of research, but some vitamins you need the minerals to be able to absorb them. So magnesium and vitamin D, as far as I understand it, go hand in hand, and if you don't have enough magnesium in your system, then you can't absorb the vitamin D. So I use them connected. Your electrolytes, generally like your magnesium, your potassium and your sodium, are really important as well. So it's probably, you know, worth doing a little bit of research yourself, but follow your instincts for sure, especially when you're starting out, or just generally whatever you can do to get as many different vitamins and minerals in your body, do that. Exercise is vital for our bodies. We're not designed to sit ever. If you think about any other animal, they rarely sit. They might lie down, but they're generally moving. And I know it's hard, obviously, if you've got a physical or mental health issue that's playing out in your life, it can be really hard to move. But any sort of movement is going to be beneficial. Doesn't matter the speed, doesn't matter the regularity, but just starting to move. And again, really tapping into the intuition of your body as you do it will help. Like, you know, if you're a bit stiff here, start moving there, loosen it up. Then you might feel, oh, down here. So you might, you know, it's not always about doing big things, especially at the beginning. It's just learning to really feel and be intuitive and get your body moving as much as you can, as much within your limits that you can. And obviously there's loads of different exercises, and there's loads of experts out there on exercises. But yeah, I have talked in the past about specific exercises that help with trauma for me. it might be worth watching another video, but I'll quickly go over. Getting in touch with my body was really important for me, so yoga was really helpful. That's more of a practice where you kind of feeling into your body and just learn to pay attention to your body, so then you can respond to it when it's in pain, or you can respond to it when you need to stretch something out or whatever. Trauma release exercises were really important for me. That's releasing the charge of trauma in your body. And again, there's there's not actually loads of information. There's a bit of information online. You have to research it. And bioenergetics. I really like Devraj on YouTube. His channel was really beneficial for me. I'll see if I'm going to try and get technical and see if I can link that with a card or something, but I've never done it before, so bear with us while I'm learning all this YouTube stuff. But yeah, bioenergetics was really helpful. They were just kind of stretches and things that stop holes and patterns that we get used to that cause repetitive damage. So exercise important, sleep. I definitely am not a sleep expert. I still struggle with sleep at times, but just allowing yourself to rest, even if you can't fall into a deep sleep. Giving you that time and space where you just lie in with your eyes closed and just allowing your body to rest is just really important. Particularly at the beginning of my cycle, it was hard for me to do that. It was always felt like I had to be, doing. And if I was struggling to sleep, I would distract myself with other stuff. But actually, there's a lot to be said for just stopping. Even if you're not sleeping, I know it can be really frustrating, but just trying to give your body a chance to rest. I've done hypnosis and stuff in the past to try and help, and I have had phases where my sleep is really great and then it might fall off. And I just work with that. I just try my best to work with it personally. But obviously, once we're meeting our basic needs, you're creating a better environment for healing within yourself. Drinking lots of water. At least, look, pop. Ugh, it's one of my pet peeves now, pop. I used to be like addicted to Diet Coke and Red Bull crap, and when I think about it now, I'm like, oh my god, like how much was I putting in my body? No wonder I was getting really, really bad symptoms. I'm not making judgments, but actually, if you just anything where you have to read the ingredients, and the ingredients is like this, and you don't understand what it is, it's probably not worth putting in your body. I don't anymore. Certainly don't, unless it's every now and then, and I'm having a little bit of a blip and I think, oh, I'll just grab that junk food crap. But anyway, water, teas, particularly natural teas, even coffee to a degree. Obviously there's caffeine and stuff in that sort of thing, so you don't want to overstimulate yourself if you're trying to heal. Juices, squashes even, at least then you're getting a bit more water. I mean, personally, if I'm drinking squash, I prefer to have like a natural based one rather than having all the artificial sweeteners and that in it. But it's all up to you, it's your choice. It's going to be your adaptation. But when you're getting fluids in your body, we're 70% water. And if you're drying out and your body's fighting dehydration, then you can't heal. So I know, and you know what, and I know, right, that when you drink more, you're gonna have to go to the toilet more, and it's annoying. My bladder's like a pea sometimes, and it is frustrating. But it's like, well, what you want would you prefer to just have to pee a bit more often, or actually feel well and aligned and healthy? It's worth it in the long term just to get into a habit of drinking more. And actually, the more you get into the habit of drinking more, the better that function becomes. Okay. Body, internal body, that's the sort of thing that you're trying to create a healing environment. Just making sure that your basic needs are met and you're getting all the nutrition, everything you need in your body, so then it can heal. In your mind. To create a healing environment in our mind can be a bit more difficult, but it can be done. It's a slow process. That the body things can actually start to shift quite quickly, especially if it's just a fact of getting your hydration and your nutrition up. That can have quite an instant response. The mind is a bit more complex and it's going to be different for everyone. And as I said, I'm not a trained psychologist or anything like that. I just know what I had to do to reprogram my brain. Our brains are just programs like a computer, and they get inputted when we're 0 to 7, and then from 7 onwards we're just playing programs. And there's loads I could talk about in this subject, because I've actually done quite a lot of research in my own style about it, of how our brains are programmed by society. Doesn't matter how, the issue is this: if you haven't reprogrammed yourself, you're playing somebody else's program. Pardon me. Especially as an adult, if you've not taken the time to choose your thought patterns, to choose your beliefs, to choose, the habits you have, then there's somebody else's ideas. Because when we're kids from 0 to 7, we're literally just absorbing everybody else's ideas, and then beyond that, we're just playing it back. So it does take a bit of time, but there is things you can do. For me, affirmations, that is essentially noticing where you've got a problem, or something you want your program and you want to change. And then I have done a post in the past, a blog post about it. I might do a video, but you're creating a positive reinforcement, and then you're repeating that back to yourself again and again and again until you believe it, until you've reprogrammed yourself. You can write it out, you can place affirmations around the house that you can read, do them in front of the mirror. I've recorded myself with affirmations and then, flip that over again and again and again. So I'm listening to it when I sleep or while I'm working. You can get subliminal messaging apps to go on your phone or your laptop. But the idea of the affirmations is you are choosing your programming. And even things that have shifted from affirmations, it can be simple things like if someone told you as a kid you can't sing. That's what I was told when I was a kid. I didn't think I could sing. And actually, I'm not saying I'm like Beyonce, but I can sing. We can all sing. You know what I mean? And once I got rid of that programming and was able to release myself, I'm a better singer, and I can enjoy singing, and it brings pleasure to my life. And yay, it was programming. And we are programmed with a lot of things. Hypnosis, this technology is really amazing these days. I mean, obviously you can go and see a professional hypnotist if you feel like you need to do that. But actually there's like apps on your phone, and again like online sessions you can do for free where you can hypnotize yourself, or at least choose your own hypnosis. I found that they were better to do at night when I was resting rather than doing them actively during the day. But hypnosis is a really beneficial way of reprogramming yourself and your mind. Meditation. Meditation is just you taking control of your mind. Our mind does not control us, yet I lived in that world for so long, and even just to try and think back to how my brain was then, it's a bit stressful, because I would have so much chatter, layers and layers and layers of just crap in my head, and I just thought that was normal. Now, nothing, not even thinking about what I'm saying right now, it's just coming through as me some channeling. And when I think, it's as much as possible a conscious choice to think that trail of thought. So meditation, and there's loads of different kinds of meditation you do for different reasons, but just essential meditation and linking with mindfulness. Mindfulness is kind of training yourself, mind, body and spirit, to live in the moment and just pay attention to the present moment. And that's a meditation practice that that can help your mindfulness, and your mindfulness helps your meditation. They coexist. You're better off maybe if there's the Buddhists are great at that. Mindfulness and meditation, they have some amazing practices for that. But essentially meditation is everyone can do it. I've even heard people say, I can't meditate. Well, you can't because you've never trained your mind. It's like saying, I can't ride a bike. Well, you can't until you try and ride the bike, right? You've just got to practice. And working with your breath and stuff. Breath, that would be a good one for the body. Breath work is really important. Creating a healthy environment, it just gives you that time to calm yourself and make a choice. So sorry, that was a bit of a fling in from the last section, but they kind of link all this stuff, you see. I mean, that's the point of the natural and the holistic. They all link and they all help each other. So the point of the meditation is really just to, it's not to control your mind, as in you're not trying to force yourself not to think. And like I said, there's plenty of advice you can get out there if you go down the route of meditation, but it's just to notice your brain, your mind, how it works, and then start to choose for yourself how you want your mind to work. And obviously there's all sorts of different kinds of meditation, like visualizations, if you need to open up your imagination more, or to help with your affirmations, and that kind of links with the spirit side. So yeah, so meditation, when you're doing visualization meditations, it's more about awakening our spiritual aspect of ourselves, or nurturing our inner child, all this, the beauty in life that we forget about when we're in the nitty gritty, when we're in the throes of life, if you like, and especially if we're going through trauma. We can forget that we can access a much more beautiful, imaginative, creative part of our brains. And if we've forgotten that that exists, it can almost seem impossible to see your future or impossible to see yourself well. And that's often when you get fixed in a health condition. Whereas when you can learn to meditate and then visualize, and you can actually start to potentially, I can see that there might be a different future, or I can see myself in a more healthy space, or I can imagine myself acting in a different way. We start to believe it, and then once we start to believe it, we're just open up to the idea of that, and we can adapt and change to find that. Another really important thing when we're creating an internal mental arena is, I kind of mentioned it, it's kind of external. When you're around other people, just being conscious of what you actually allowed to be taken in. So someone says something to you, you don't have to judge them, because that's going to like add to your own distress potentially. I genuinely think we feel distress when we're judging and trying to make other people wrong. It's not about that. But discerning what's right for you. If someone says something and you don't agree with them, be conscious of that and just be like, well, that doesn't work for me, I'm going to let it go. Especially if someone says something that's running around in your mind, or there's a situation running around in your mind, analyze it. Ignoring it's not going to really help go away. It might sometimes, but I tend to do that if I'm walking. There's some EMDR, I think it's called. I've never done it, again, I'm not an expert, but there's something about moving your eyes when you're processing something where it overrides our emotions, and you can actually look at it a bit more, from a more of a healing space. And so if you're walking, if you're just walking the dog, or you're just going for a walk yourself for fresh air, think about these stressful situations where somebody said something that you disagree with, and it's bringing you into that, or someone said something negative about you or anything like that. You do that when you're walking, kind of overrides your emotions, and you can actually analyse and decide for yourself, do I want to take that information on board or not? And consciously doing that is creating more of a healthy, healing environment within your own mind. Spiritually, this is about connecting to the bigger meaning of life, and there's only you can do that for yourself, and I genuinely think there's a process to be involved in that. And it links again with the other stuff I said about meditation potentially, and visualization, but even just starting to write or express creatively, however you're drawn, to find, your soul wants to find meaning. Your soul wants to know where it fits with everything else that exists, and what is existence anyway, and why are we here, and what am I about, and these bigger questions we need to explore. Like, we're not going to find the answers. It's like a never-ending quest, but it's a need within us that we often ignore. We ignore it because it can feel overwhelming. If you're asking a question you can never get the answer to, what happens when we die? No one knows until you die, right? But the journey of exploring that meets a need within us that just opens us out to the wonders of life. And when we can nurture our soul in that way by asking these bigger questions and by following our inner guidance to try and find answers to them, it just creates a healing environment. Our soul then knows it's being nurtured and it's important, and that is going to really help the processing of your trauma or your health condition, whatever it is. And you need to do all these things together. Obviously, it'll be up to your intuition to guide what you focus on when and what's maybe the more important priority. But doing things that nurture your soul, which is just things that give you pleasure and make you feel alive. And I'm not talking physical pleasure. I don't really talk about that actually with the body. Sorry, I've gone off on one again about sexual pleasure. If you have a partner, like that can be a really important part of the healing journey, as long as that environment is safe and you're nurturing. The pleasure aspect of it, that can be, and massage and things as well. Like if you have a partner, or even if you can't, if you can get that externally and go and get a massage, all that sort of stuff where you're nurturing your body. Creates a healing environment, but for your soul as well, like just doing things that, and the easiest way to think what would my soul like to do is just go back to being like a kid, just going back to being like 5 or 6 and just being like, if I was 5 or 6 right now and I loved myself, what would I do? Go to the beach. Then go to the beach. Do it. Don't just think about how nice it would be. Obviously I realise, if you have physical limitations and all the corona stuff at the minute, that might not be as easy. But once you start to really tune into what would just bring you pleasure, just to enjoy life, just for the simple sake of being alive, and then you follow that, your soul then knows it's being nurtured and it'll become more of an active part of the healing process, and it's really powerful. And that will make big shifts for you. And sometimes I've been guided to do things by my soul. I thought, that's a bit crazy. And I didn't do it at first. But once I gave into that and I did it, I just realised it's just such a great ally, to have your life force energy on your side for your healing journey. It just is really helpful. And we don't understand the bigger picture of things. Humans, we're not supposed to understand the bigger implications of the universe. But when you just start to tap into that and respond to it, you get bigger results. Because we are part of it, and like I say, any part of us that we can nurture and effectively let that part of us know that we're being active in the care of, that's how the healing begins. That is the healing process. A lot of this all comes down to nurturing, and I am aware that sometimes people have not been taught how to nurture themselves. I wasn't, in some ways I was, in other ways I wasn't. Obviously our parents will prioritise things that they feel like we should be nurtured in, or it's them putting, again, their conditioning onto us. And as an adult, you then have an opportunity to be like, well, how would I nurture myself? How do I nurture myself? So the specific what you do is specific for each person. Like for me, I started to get into writing. That was really nurturing for my soul aspect, journaling and exploring that way, and creatively doing art, but just doing the things that nurture us specifically rather than someone else's ideas. So this whole video really is me just potentially trying to give you ideas. You obviously don't have to take them on. It's up to you what you do on your healing journey, but it's just trying to explain why we're doing it, to create an environment so our body can heal ourselves, and how is these broader ideas that I've been trying to give you. The what specifics in your life is what you need to decide for yourself. I think that's everything I would like to express in this video. I'm really grateful that you've watched all the way to the end. Thank you very much. Please like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel. I think that's somewhere like here or here. I don't know. And please leave comments. It's really important for me to get feedback. Is there something that would make the videos more beneficial? Are there other subjects you would be interested in exploring? I'm really open to comments, feedback, suggestions, and I really appreciate any likes and any subscribes and any shares. Anyway, thank you very much for being with us. I hope this video is helpful for you on your healing journey. Have a good day. Bye.